Okay, so in this video, we're going to discuss how to use a servo motor, one of these larger servo motors, with the microbit and all-in-one Kitronics breakout board. Now, to use a standard, well, I suppose one of the smaller servo motors, this all-in-one breakout board have these 8 separate pins here to run them. But in my experience, I found that these larger motors don't work with these pins. I assume it's because of the voltage coming from them isn't great enough, but I'm not 100% sure. But the way that I found to work past this is by adding in an additional battery. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to first of all show you how the whole thing is wired together, and then I'm going to walk you through the coding process and then show you how it should work. So if we just move these over to the side, we can bring in the fully wired version. As you can see here, we have the same servo motor, which is large, and we have our 3 wires. Now, similarly to the connections we had over here, one of them is going to go to ground, one of them is going to go to voltage, and one of them is going for a signal. But because we're not using these 8 pins here, we're going to refer back to these pins. So we have our ground. We're going to use pin O, which is the second pin in here, as our signal. And then for our voltage, we're going to use an additional battery, with that ground also connected to the same ground here and to the ground of our servo motor. And this additional battery then is just to supply the 3 volts to the board itself. Now, the wiring diagram will be displayed up on the website if you want to have a look at that underneath the video itself. But now we might as well go over and show you the coding that is used to get this working as well. Okay, so now that we moved over to the microbit code editor, what we can do is start off by putting in our input blocks. So I'm going to go for on button press A and on button press B. So I'm just going to change this one to B. And then I'm going to go down to pins. And in pins here at the very bottom, you can see these servo blocks. So we'll go for servo right pin to, and we'll double that. We'll get 2 of them. Now we're going to use pin O, so we can leave it on pin O for both, because that's where our signal wire of our 3 wires are going back to. I'm going to set one of them to 180 degrees, and then I'm going to set the other one to 0 degrees. And what we can do now is we can copy that over to our microbit, and we can see how we get on with that. Okay, so now that we have a bit of an idea how we are to code it, we can upload it to our microbit itself. We can turn on the power to ensure that the 9-volt battery is supplying voltage to the board, supplying the 3 volts to our microbit. And then we ensure that we have power in our 6 volt, that this is not dead. So if you have a multimeter, you can check it. We have it all wired up like we should. And now on button press A, it should go 180 degrees one way. And then press B, it should go 180 degrees the opposite way. Now, depending on how many servos you want, all you have to do is add in extra signals and then put that pin as the signal pin on the code itself. And you can put it back to this battery if you find that there's not enough voltage when you have a couple of servos going at once. You can use additional batteries similar to how you wired this up.